And welcome to a WJCU Sports exclusive interview. My name is Nikolena, Samac, and I'm joined here with my sports co-director, Owen, along with the Vice President of Athletics and head football coach, Brian Polian, who was just named as the 21st head football coach for John Carroll. We are super excited that you're here to join us today. How are you feeling after that press conference?
Excited, but it's been a hectic early week already. And we're going out recruiting tomorrow. So let's go. It's time to go.
Busy day already getting rolling. And speaking of recruiting, there has been a lot of change in our program, and change can be scary for some young recruits looking to make decisions on whether to come to John Carroll or not. How are you playing your role in recruiting and bringing new talent in after a lot of changes and losing an extremely impactful group of seniors after this season?
Well, the first thing we did was recruit our own team, right? Once the decision was made, it was time to talk to our own guys and make sure that everybody was comfortable with the choice, that nobody was going to panic. We spent a lot of time with our team after Coach Behrman announced that he was leaving for Bucknell, and investing in making sure that everybody was okay. I actually had begun recruiting without knowing that I was going to end up in this role, but it felt like we needed a set of hands and a leadership voice to talk to our most important recruits and tell them, hey, everybody relax, just give us, our goal was to have this done the week of Martin Luther King Day, and here we are. In 3 weeks, we arrived at a conclusion, and there was a lot of work done. We wanted to make sure that everybody stayed calm, and ultimately, relationships with coaches are very important, but recruits are choosing John Carroll as an institution. And none of those things that make John Carroll great changed just because the head football coach changed.
On the note of recruiting and how this football team has really changed in the last few years, you kind of touched on it in the press conference, but how do you see this past season's, big run to the national semifinals? How did that impact the program as a whole, and how do people view John Carroll in the role of Division III athletics because of it?
Well, certainly the run of the football team this year could be compared to the run of the basketball team a couple of years ago when they were ranked number one in the country. When you have an athletic team that is in the top 2 or 3 in the country, they can capture attention, and I think that the playoff run this year in football captured the attention of our alumni, of our campus, and it is followed up with hard data. Like, we know for a fact the John Carroll brand gained 3 million impressions over social media nationally because of the Mount Union win and the subsequent win at Berry, and then the game at North Central. So, even for those who may not say, well, I'm not a sports fan, that is an example of when excellence in what we do is good for the university in general. And certainly for our football brand, because of the increased exposure through ESPN Plus and through our relationship with Rock, more recruits are seeing us, and we're making calls nationally where I'm calling somebody in Tennessee or in Georgia, and they say, Coach, I saw you guys on TV. I saw that Mount Union win. And so that's just good for recruiting.
And on a different end of recruiting, for the final question in that regard, away from the students, how has the process been for filling other coaching positions? We know we lost a decent chunk of our offensive side of coaching. Has there been any candidates or process that we've started yet for that?
Yes, there was. I mean, we arrived at this decision with President Mikiak and President-elect Noel Sorg a couple of days ago. And so while we didn't announce it until yesterday, Tuesday, I've begun work on interviewing and identifying candidates, and we're going to have to replace a good amount of coaches on the offensive side. We're going to have to replace one on the defensive side. But what I've discovered, not only when we were going through the head coaching search, but now with the assistants, John Carroll is viewed as a very attractive opportunity. When you think about in the last decade, we've had 2 head coaches go from John Carroll to a Division I head job. When you think about Chris Shula is going to be a head coach in the NFL, a decade ago, he was the defensive coordinator at John Carroll. We are a national brand now. People know that, and they know that this can be a great launching point.
We know that, especially in college sports, the landscape has been changing pretty rapidly, especially within the last 5 to 10 years with the emergence of NIL and programs such as those. How do you intend to compete in an ever competitive landscape, especially at the Division III level where there are so many options?
Yeah, we have to evolve like everybody else, and we can't be afraid to do different things. There was a time when transfers were frowned upon here at John Carroll. And listen, you look back at last year, and Nick Semtenfelter and Ty Montgomery, both transfers, both leaving here with master's degree, Nick with an MBA. So attitudes change, and we have to be able to evolve with the times. I'm not afraid of NIL. Our university's not. We're not afraid to do some things that maybe a decade ago would not have seemed necessarily normal here at John Carroll, as long as we do them within the framework of our mission and that we're going to play by the rules and we're going to do things the right way. But if things are legal, then we're going to be open to different avenues to compete.
Absolutely. And a final question for this interview, something you also kind of briefly touched on, but I just wanted to expand on it. As you are maintaining a role as the vice president of athletics while also being the head football coach, how are you going to ensure that other teams and student athletes still feel that they're being taken care of by the athletic department?
That's a great question, and I appreciate you asking that. The first decision I made was I am not moving my office. My office is going to stay in the DeCarlo Varsity Center. I think if I had moved to the Shula Center across the street at the stadium, it would have sent the wrong signal to the rest of the athletic department. So my office will remain in the varsity gym. You have to be present to win, right? Like, I have taken on these responsibilities, and yet I'm at the doubleheader Saturday against the men and women playing against Denison. And frankly, I spoke to other head coaches in the department and said, if I were to go this way, would you be comfortable, or would you feel like I am not doing my job and supporting your program and your student athletes? And the feedback I received was incredibly positive. I think 3 years ago, had the decision come in, I'm going to be the athletic director and football coach, and nobody knew me and we didn't have relationships, it would have been a much different scenario. But I think over nearly 3 years now, I have proven that I care about, first of all, I care about every student on this campus, but I care about every student athlete. I'm supportive of every sport. I'm present and seen at every sport, and none of that will change. Dejan Mladenovic, Decky, is going to now become our senior deputy athletic director. He's going to take some of the workload off of me day to day. But without him, we would not be able to do this. But the reality of it is I am fully confident that I have the juice to do both of these jobs and do them well.
Well, thank you very much for your time, for taking the time to sit down with us today at WJCU. We're really excited about this appointment, and we're really excited to work alongside you next season.
Well, I appreciate all the work that you guys do. You're excellent, and I'm so excited now that our relationship continues, albeit a little bit different now.
Brian Polian, the 21st head coach of John Carroll football, on your radio home for John Carroll Athletics, WJCU 88.7.